Hey lovelies, welcome to the channel. If this is your first time here, do well to hit on that red subscribe button, like this video and comment kimono in the comment section below. In today's tutorial, we're going to be learning how to make this beautiful no shoulder seam kimono that you can see here that my client is actually rocking and enjoying. You can see her expression, guys. If you like to create this for yourself, then make sure you stick to the end of this video to get a full understanding of it. Get into the tutorial, guys. We're going to be making use of this beautiful Ankara print that has red, black, white and a touch of yellow in it. So the first thing we are going to be doing is that we're going to be folding our fabrics into two, as you can see, guys. After folding it into two like this, then we're going to be folding it into two again, guys. But before then, make sure to pin the edges so it doesn't move. So now I'm going to be folding it into two again. Remember from the thumbnail we said it's not going to have a shoulder seam, so watch this carefully so you can understand it, because every process is very important from the beginning down to the end of the tutorial, guys. So now you can see I'm going to be marking from the folded edge on the upper side. I'm going to be making use of one part as the front and the other part as the back. So please watch this carefully. So now we're going to be marking our back neckline, because I'm going to be using this part as the back of the fabric. So now the width of the neckline is 3.5 inches in width, while the depth is actually 1 inch, as you can see. So I'm going to be marking it as shown. After marking it, then I'm going to be making a slight curve from the upper part towards the edge. Made lots of mistakes, taking shots, skipping breaks, feeling lost, feeling great, popping off, singing straight, never stopped, never changed. All the squad here to play, and I've got something to say, yeah. So now I flipped it over so I'll be able to take the other left hand side of the back neckline. So this way it will be easier. Please watch this process carefully so you can really understand it, because like I said earlier on, the shoulder point is not going to have a seam. So you can see how I actually did it just to get the back neckline of the kimono. So now I made that curve. After making that curve, then I had to cut out the back neckline as displayed. So after doing this, now I'm going to be inserting my client's shoulder measurement, which was actually 7.5 inches. You can see where I'm placing my tape. So now I'm going to be marking 7.5 inch, the exact 7.5 inch, because it's not going to be having a seam on this point. So after marking that 7.5 inch, I'm going to be inserting the length of the sleeve from that shoulder point that we've marked earlier on. So you can see I placed my tape on that shoulder point, then extending the tape towards the length of the sleeve. So now I'm going to be taking the length of the actual sleeve, which I placed 11 inches in length. Then I'm going to be marking the half length of my client, which was actually 16 inches. Then after that, I placed my tape and marked about 8 inches, which is the hip line, from the waist to the hip line, which is 8 inches. Then after marking it, I'm going to label it as waistline and hip line. So after doing that, I extended the line horizontally as displayed. Then I'm going to be inserting the horizontal measurement of my client. So round waist divided by 4. Then I'm going to be adding 1.5 inches extra. So waist divided by 4 plus 1.5 inches. You can add 2, 3, or 4. It's dependent on how wide you want the kimono to be. But I added 1.5 inches. So I'm going to be using half inch for the seam, while the 1 inch will be for the seam allowance. So after marking the waist measurement, I'm going to be marking the round hip divided by 4 plus 1.5 inches as shown. Then I'm going to be connecting the lines, connecting from the armhole point. As you can see, I connected the line from the hip towards the waist. Then I used my free hand to connect it towards the sleeve part. So you can see that we've connected the sleeve to the waistline, then to the hip line. Then now we're going to be extending the hip line towards the hemline with a straight line as shown. At this point, if you don't want your kimono to have a shape, you just want it to be straight and flowy, you can decide not to add a hip measurement. You can add 4 inches extra to your waistline and your hip point, but it will be straight. You wouldn't give it a hip shape, but if you want it to have a shape, then you can do it this way that I just did mine. So after connecting the line, the next thing is to cut out the pattern as shown, is to cut out the fabric. If you know you've gotten to this point and you've not subscribed to the channel, please do well to hit on that subscribe button. It's red and it's free. It's not going to cost you anything, and this will be more like a way to support this channel and encourage me to create more tutorials for you guys. So please like this video, comment kimono down in the comment section below, and if you want me to create any other tutorial for you, please drop your idea or your thought down in the comment section below and I'll look into it, guys. So now we are done cutting the back neckline, we're done cutting the sides. So now we're going to mark the center point so it to guide us on how to cut our front neckline. So now from that shoulder point, I'm going to be marking 3 inches in length. I'll be repeating the same process for the other side too. Mark 3 inches in length, then I'll connect the line as shown. So now this part will be the front part. What I'm going to do next is that I'm going to fold the material into 2 like this. Then I'll mark a line on the front neckline to serve as a guide for me to be able to cut out the front neckline as well as the front design. Then now on the front part, I'm going to be marking 1 inch starting from the front midpoint. Then I'm going to mark that 1 inch towards the hemline of the front.
in my veins, I've been driving this train. Years in this lane, there's no stopping this flame. Cause I came to the game and I changed it to play how I like, rearranged it to my own domain. Yeah, I got what it takes, made lots of mistakes, taking shots, skipping breaks, feeling lost, feeling great, popping off, singing
So now
straight,
to be
never
able to
stop,
cut
never
only the
fade.
front, I had to fold the fabric like this. I had to open it up, flip the back one side and then the front this other way. This way it will be easier to cut just the front.
I won't stop till I make a change. I withdraw on the things I make. I turn flaws into flawless traits. I build tall, never cap in space. I won't stop till I hear him say.
So as you can see now, we have the front part of the fabric on one side and the back on the other side. So I'm going to be making a slight curve on the front neckline as shown. Then I'm going to be taking away 1 inch from the front part of the fabric as shown, or mark 1 inch from that front neckline towards the hemline. So now I'm going to be cutting out that 1 inch part that I marked earlier on. That line I drew earlier served as a guide to how I want my front neckline to be. So as you can see, the front neckline is having a slight curve and it's looking so beautiful, guys, and I'm loving the outcome. So after I'm done cutting both the back and the front neckline, you can see how it is looking, guys. What do you think? Isn't it looking so lovely? Isn't it looking very beautiful? On this front part of the kimono, we are going to be attaching a band. The length of the band is close to 40 something inches, while the width is about 5 inches. So now I took it to my ironing board and ironed it. Meanwhile, on the sleeve, we're going to be adding an extra length. So I'm going to make use of this fabric to add an extra length to the sleeve, both on the left hand side as well as on the right hand side. The way the fabric is placed, there is a pattern in which I want to actually follow, so I have to cut out that part to attach it, placing this particular pattern on the sleeve part, both on the left and on the right hand part. So as you can see, the designs are looking so beautiful and so gorgeous, guys. So I'm going to be pinning that part to the sleeve. So after I was done pinning it, I folded the hem part of the front as well as on the back. I used an hemming gum to fold the hem part of the kimono. You can see it's looking very neat and lovely, guys. So now the next thing we're going to be doing is that we're going to fix the band on the front part of the kimono. I also folded the sleeve of the kimono as shown. You can see the pattern on both the front and the back part of the sleeve. So now we're going to fix this band on the kimono. I'm going to start sewing from one part of the hemline, one part of the kimono, and then I'm going to sew it round until I get to the other part of the hemline as shown. So I'll do this off camera and I'll bring it back for you guys to see. Also, I'm also going to be stitching the sides of the sleeve down to the hemline. So after I was done doing that, this is the final look, guys. You can see the inner part of the kimono is looking so clean and beautiful. If you're going to be recreating this for yourself, make sure to tag me on Instagram at Selingeris. And you can also follow us on Facebook at Selingeris and post your recreation so we can see your beautiful creations, guys. We've come to the end of this tutorial. Do well to like this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done that already, and I'll see you guys on the next tutorial, guys. Bye.